guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Pinky Science Academy, Biology Form 4 Paper 1, Revision Question and Answers. Please subscribe, like and comment. So the first question is, state 2 features that hinder self-pollination in plants. So features that hinder self-pollination include monoicism, where plants have male and female parts of the in different parts of the same plant. Protandry, where male parts of the plant mature earlier. Protogeny, where the stigma mature early and is ready to receive pollen grain before the anthers. And then there is self-sterility, where pollen grains from the anthers fail to germinate on the stigma of the same plant. Name the structure that is found between two vertebrae. It's called intervertebral disc. That attaches muscles to the bones. It's called tendons. State 2 functions of the arms of the microscope. It's the part of the microscope. It supports the body tube and the stage, and also it is where you hold the microscope in transit. 2 functions of the cell sap. It serves as a storage material and also provides mechanical support. So that question is repeated again. So the other question is, letter H represents the dominant and recessive genes for hemophilia. Write down the genotype of the following. Homozygous dominant. A dominant allele is the allele that is expressed when present. So the dominant allele is normally expressed using a capital letter. So homozygous dominant, it's like that, XHX, capital, or if it's in a male, X capital H Y. So those genes or those alleles are carried by the sex chromosome. That's why we represent them as that. Homozygous recessive allele is the one that is not expressed unless it is alone. So you can only represent it using a small letter like that. Heterozygous is when you have both alleles, both the dominant and the recessive together. Okay. Give 2 reasons why accumulation of lactic acid during vigorous exercise leads to increased heartbeat. So the body needs to get rid of that lactic acid. So the lactic acid accumulation leads to decrease in the pH, which stimulates the nervous system to increase the firing rate. Sweat accumulates on a person's skin in hot and humid environment. Explain. So in hot and humid environment, sweat evaporates slowly, and thus you feel heat on the surface of your skin. Here's another question. You study the question and study the diagram and answer the question that follow. Supposed to name the parts labeled A, B, and C. So A, the antipodal cells, B, the egg cell, and C, the synergids. So you are asked, what does part B form after fertilization? It forms the diploid zygote. Explain 3 ways in which red blood cells are adapted to their function. They have hemoglobin for transporting the oxygen. Then they are biconcave shape to increase surface area for packaging of oxygen. They lack cell organelles to reduce the metabolic activities, and also so they have enough space for packaging of oxygen. And then they contain enzyme carbonic anhydrase to transport carbon dioxide. Give the function of the following. Ribosomes, they are involved in protein synthesis. Lysosomes, they destroy the old and worn out cell organelles. 3 people got road accident at Kehancha and all suffered head injuries. Indicate the part of the brain each patient suffered following the condition that they have. Loss of memory, that is cerebrum. inability to maintain balance, cerebellum, and inability to regulate their body temperature is the hypothalamus. Name the strengthening tissue of the following. You have parenchyma, lignin or cellulose, and then xylem lignin. A student from St. Joseph Ntimaru made potato stripes, fresh potato, each measured 70 millimeter. One stripe was placed in solution P, the other in Q. The last strip was placed in a petri dish, and then they were analyzed. Now you are given the questions. You're given a table. After 20 minutes, the results were as follows. In strip P, firm. In strip Q, flabby. In petri dish, same as before. You are supposed to account for the observation in solution P. So what happens is hypotonic solution or water entered into the strip by osmosis, making it firm. For Q, it was flabby, meaning that it was placed in a concentrated solution or hypertonic solution, and therefore water moved out of the strip by osmosis. The role of the strip kept in the empty petri dish. So this one, no observation was made. So this one is known as control experiment. It was to act as a control experiment. Control experiment. And then you are asked what is meant by vestigial structures. They are structures that have ceased to be functional. Example is appendix in man. State what happens during the light stage of photosynthesis. So during light stage, water molecule is broken down into oxygen atoms and hydrogen ions. Okay, so state the aspect of photosynthesis that is tested using a variegated leaf. That's chlorophyll, because a variegated leaf has part of it with chlorophyll, part of it doesn't have chlorophyll. State two other gaseous exchange structures beneath in plants beside the stomata, lenticels. Name two digestive enzymes that are produced in inactive form, that is trypsinogen and pepsinogen. State three structural differences between DNA and RNA. DNA is double-stranded, RNA is single-stranded. DNA is made of deoxyribose, RNA ribose. DNA has adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. RNA has adenine, uracil, cytosine, and guanine. State two characteristics that make millipedes different from centipede. Millipede have two sets of legs per segment. Centipede has one set of legs per segment. Millipedes do not have poisonous claws. Centipedes have poisonous claws. Nitrates is the form in which nitrogen is availed to plant. The process of breaking down nitrates to nitrites, ammonia and even nitrogen is known as denitrification. Adaptations of emergent hydrophytes, they have broad leaves with numerous stomata for gas exchange. Their flowers are above water for pollination. Define the term metamorphosis. Metamorphoses are developmental stages that take place in an organism until adulthood. Explain the role of the following hormones in insect metamorphosis. Molting hormone, it causes larval stage to change into pupa. Juvenile hormone inhibits metamorphosis by stimulating formation of larval cuticle. Adaptive advantage of larval stage, avoidance of competition for resources. State two features that affect the rate of active transport, that's oxygen concentration and glucose concentration. State two conditions that must be present for active transport to take place. Energy must be present and also carriers must be present. So here is a diagram. You are told to identify part A, that's a hook, suggest the possible agent of dispersal, wind dispersal. What is the role of style? It is where the pollen tube forms and it stops incompatible pollen from penetrating into the ovary. Name the major mineral element in the composition of the following hemoglobin, that's iron, chlorophyll, magnesium. List 2 functions of centrioles involved in cell division, formation of spindle fibers also. A patient with blood group A negative died shortly after receiving blood from person with blood group B positive. Explain why. This is because the person with blood group A and blood group B, there was clumping together of red blood cells or agglutination. Also, the rhesus antigen. The person in group B had a rhesus antigen while the person in group A didn't have the rhesus antigen. A certain plant was found to have 28 chromosomes in its petal cells. State the number of chromosomes of the plant of the egg cell in the embryo sac. That was 14. Name the causative agent of cholera, Vibrio cholerae. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more.